The NBA world was stunned in an instant. Kevin Durant smirked into the camera, LeBron laughed, and a casual comment about Michael Jordan spiraled into one of the sport's most shocking controversies. But behind the jokes and social media debates lies a deeper story, one that exposes the growing divide between the legends of yesterday and the stars of today. What happens when respect for the past collides with the egos of the present? And can numbers ever tell the full story of greatness? This is the untold reckoning no one in the league saw coming. Let's start with what Durant actually said and why it matters. On LeBron's Mind the Game podcast, Durant casually threw out that line about playing baseball, making Jordan's 1993 retirement sound like he simply quit on the game.
And there's high speculation and a report that Michael Jordan will retire from basketball.
Like he got bored and decided to try something else. Like leaving basketball was some kind of weakness, while LeBron's longevity made him somehow tougher or more dedicated. But here's the problem with Durant's cute little comment. It completely ignores the context of why Jordan retired that year. And that context changes everything. Michael Jordan didn't wake up one morning and decide he was tired of basketball. His father was murdered that summer. James Jordan was killed in cold blood during a robbery.
In 1993, Michael Jordan's father, James Jordan, his first coach and closest confidant, was robbed and murdered at random in North Carolina.
The man who pushed Michael to greatness, who sat in the stands for every game he could attend, who talked with his son about dreams beyond basketball, was gone. And Michael Jordan, at the absolute peak of his powers, walked away from the game to honor his father's memory and pursue the dream they had talked about together, playing professional baseball. So when Durant casually throws out that line with a smirk on his face, he's not just being ignorant, he's being disrespectful. He's reducing one of the most painful moments in Jordan's life to a punchline for podcast content. And LeBron, sitting right there laughing along, co-signed every bit of it. Let's talk about when Jordan actually retired. Was it after a first-round playoff exit? After getting embarrassed in the finals? After his team fell apart around him? No. Jordan retired after winning his third straight championship. He reached the absolute pinnacle of basketball and did something Magic Johnson never did, something Larry Bird never did, something Isaiah Thomas never did, a three-peat. And he did it while dealing with the unimaginable grief of losing his father just months earlier.
In 1993, just after Michael Jordan had won his third straight NBA title, his father, James Jordan, was found murdered.
Now here's where it gets really interesting. Look at who's making these comments. Kevin Durant, one of the biggest quitters in NBA history. In 2016, after losing to the Warriors in the Western Conference Finals,
it hurts losing. It hurts losing, especially being up 3 games to 1. But games 3 and 4.
Durant didn't go back to Oklahoma City and try to beat them. He joined them. He joined the team that beat him, the 73-win team that already had Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green. That move is widely considered the most spineless decision in league history. Durant couldn't beat them, so he became them. And it didn't stop there. Since leaving Golden State, Durant quit on Brooklyn. He demanded a trade because he couldn't handle the pressure.
An interview talking about KD should have done this, he should have done that. He shouldn't have done anything. The same way he left you guys without telling you, that's the same way he left the Thunder without telling them.
Of being the guy in a major market. Then he went to Phoenix and quit on them too when things got difficult. This is the guy calling Michael Jordan a quitter for honoring his dead father's memory. The irony would be funny if it wasn't so insulting. Then there's LeBron. When things got tough in Cleveland the first time, he took his talents to South Beach on national television. When the Heat started declining in 2014, he bolted back to Cleveland. Then when that situation became difficult, he ran to Los Angeles. Every time adversity hit, LeBron found the nearest exit. Every time a team needed rebuilding, he was already packing his bags. But somehow Jordan, who won 6 championships with one franchise and never ran from competition, is the quitter in their narrative. The numbers that expose everything. The disrespect didn't end with the baseball comment. Durant kept going, talking about how the real goal for an NBA player should be playing 20 years, not winning championships, not MVPs, not maximizing your talent every single season, just longevity, just sticking around long enough to accumulate stats. And LeBron nodded along like this was some profound basketball philosophy, instead of the excuse-making it actually is. This is where Jordan's entire philosophy destroys their argument. Michael Jordan never chased longevity, he chased perfection. Every single season, his goal was simple: maximize himself, maximize his team, win championships, dominate on both ends of the floor. When someone asked him about load management, Jordan's response was immediate. It shouldn't be needed. The fans are there to watch me play. I want to impress that guy way up on top who probably worked his ass off to get a ticket. Jordan played 15 years total, but really only 13 full seasons when you account for his retirements. In that time, he won 6 championships, 6 finals MVPs, 5 regular season MVPs, 10 scoring titles, and made 9 all-defensive teams. That's not just impressive, that's near perfection in every measurable category. Now look at Durant and LeBron combined. They've played 39 seasons between them, nearly 3 times as long as Jordan's peak years. And what did they have to show for it? 6 championships total, 5 MVPs, 6 finals MVPs, 5 scoring titles, 5 all-defensive selections combined. In almost 40 years of basketball, playing in an era with better training, better nutrition, better medical care, private jets, and every advantage imaginable, they accomplished less than Jordan did in basically a decade. Twice the time, half the results. That's not a debate, that's mathematics. The mentality that separated eras. Jordan's mentality was different from day one. When he came into the league as a rookie in 1984, he played all 82 games. This was in an era where the game was harder, more physical, and the travel was brutal. Teams flew commercials. They had one trainer and one strength coach. Back-to-backs were constant. The bad boy Pistons were waiting to clothesline you every time you drove the lane. And yet players still showed up every single night. In the 19 and 2000 season alone, 58 players played all 82 games. Compare that to today. The worst years for availability in NBA history are happening right now in the 2020s, when players have every advantage imaginable. Private jets, entire medical staffs, sports science departments, state-of-the-art training facilities, recovery protocols that previous generations couldn't have dreamed of, and they're playing less than ever. Why? Because the mindset changed, because the standard changed, because LeBron James showed an entire generation that sitting out games was acceptable. LeBron has only played a full 82-game season once in his entire career, once in over 20 years. Guys like Bird, Kobe, Duncan, even Allen Iverson did it multiple times. And here's the thing, when LeBron rests, when he load manages, it sends a message to the entire league. If the best player can sit out whenever he's tired, why can't everyone else? It trickles down. Role players start resting, bench guys start resting. The whole league adopts the mentality that regular season games don't really matter unless it's the playoffs. Kevin McHale summed it up perfectly. This rest stuff just drives me crazy. You're playing basketball for a living. I understand if you're working in a coal mine, you might need a rest day. You're playing basketball. That's the perspective of someone who competed in an era where showing up wasn't optional, where the fans who paid to see you play actually mattered, where being an NBA player was understood as a privilege, not a burden. Jordan understood something that apparently needs to be explained to today's superstars. You owe everything to this game and to the fans who pay to watch you play. When you make $95 million and you're sitting out games because you're tired, that's a slap in the face to everyone who saved up to buy a ticket. That's disrespecting the kid whose father worked security and scrubbed floors just to afford one seat in the upper deck. That's forgetting where this whole thing comes from. The legacy that needs no defense. Larry Bird played through back problems so severe that he had to lay on the floor before games just to get ready. His back was destroyed from years of diving on hardwood, from competing at maximum intensity every single night, from refusing to take plays off even when his body begged him to stop. He competed hard, played injured, and did it all because he respected the game too much to take nights off. When Bird showed up, you got everything he had. There was no coasting. There was no saving himself for the playoffs. There was just Larry Bird trying to destroy you for 48 minutes. Bird and Jordan both played under 15 full seasons. Why? because they left everything on the floor every single night, diving for loose balls, playing lockdown defense, doing whatever it took to win. They didn't pace themselves for year 20. They didn't think about career counting stats or all-time leaderboards. They thought about that night's game and that year's championship. They understood that basketball's a finite window, and the goal isn't to stretch that window as long as possible. The goal is to maximize every single moment you have inside it. Jordan himself broke his foot in his second season.
Air Jordan suffered the first injury of his career. A broken foot sidelined him for 64 games.
Management wanted him shut down for the entire year. The Bulls were out of playoff contention anyway. There was no reason to risk further injury. Jordan refused. He came back and played limited minutes because he couldn't stand watching from the sideline. And when games were on the line, when 30 seconds remained and his team needed a bucket, he demanded to be on the floor, not because he was healthy, because that's who he was. That's the mentality that separated his generation from the one complaining about playing 82 games with private jets and personal chefs. Durant and LeBron have been playing for their own individual glory for years now. Stats, points, all-time leaderboards. Jordan said himself that if he cared about scoring records, he would have kept playing, chasing Wilt Chamberlain and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar up the all-time list. But he didn't care about that. He cared about rings. He cared about winning. He cared about being the best version of himself every single time he stepped on the floor. So when Durant says the goal is playing 20 years, he's exposing the difference between his generation and Jordan's. Jordan's goal was never to just stick around. It was to dominate, to be the best, to leave a legacy that nobody could touch. And he did that in 13 full seasons. Durant and LeBron have had almost 40 combined seasons, and they're still chasing Jordan's ghost. They'll be chasing it forever. Here's what makes this even more significant. NBC recently brought Michael Jordan back into the NBA fold with a major role in their coverage.
Here at NBC, six-time NBA champion Michael Jordan is set to join NBC Sports coverage as a special contributor this fall.
Why? Because even now, even after retiring over 20 years ago, Jordan has more power and influence than anyone in the game today. His name still carries more weight than any active player. His opinion still matters more than any podcast hot take. If Jordan speaks, people listen. If Jordan says players should compete, should play every game, should respect the fans, that message resonates in ways that nothing else can. That's Jordan's real response to Durant and LeBron. Not words, not a podcast appearance, not a Twitter rant. His response is his continued relevance. His response is that his career speaks louder than anything they could ever say. And according to sources, that's exactly what Larry Bird has been telling people privately. Bird reportedly said that Jordan doesn't need to defend himself because his legacy defends itself. The numbers are there, the championships are there, the standard he set is there. Nothing Durant or LeBron say can change any of it. The modern NBA can celebrate longevity, load management, and all-time stats. But true greatness isn't measured in years. It's measured in moments, in dominance, in the legacy you leave behind. Jordan, Bird, Magic, they didn't need to respond to every comment or podcast. Their careers, their championships, their relentless pursuit of excellence spoke for them. Durant and LeBron can laugh all they want, but history remembers those who transcended the game, not just those who played the longest. So the real question remains, in a world chasing numbers and longevity, who will be remembered for greatness and who will simply be remembered for lasting?